Hey everyone, yep, I got a haircut. In this video, I'll be going over viewpoint number 19 in the book 40 Stories Celebrating 40 Years of Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. But real quick before I get into that chapter, I just wanted to point out, it is yet, just like the last video of From a Certain Point of View, it is another cold morning in Naples, Florida, Southwest Florida, for what's cold for Florida. I don't know if you remember last time's outfit that I had, but last time I wore a Chewbacca onesie. I just wanted to show another Star Wars outfit that I decided to wear with this video that kind of keeps me warm. Once again, just to show it off since it's a Star Wars related video. Once again, I am wearing my Chewbacca slippers. But I'm also, this time, wearing my Chewbacca Pajama Pants set, which, at the time that I bought it, it came with this Star Wars pajama pants that not only has Chewbacca, like the Chewbacca Pajama Set says, but it also has characters from the sequel trilogy, which is pretty cool. It has Rey and Finn and Chewbacca on it, and then the pajama set also came with this Star Wars shirt that has Chewbacca on it. This point of view is called Fully Operational, and it's by Beth Revis. It's from the viewpoint of the Chief of the Imperial Army, General Casio Tage. It takes place right inside the Death Star. General Tage talks a lot about what it's like, the thought of firing such weapons, and that weapons should be used to fire. And what's pretty cool about this chapter is that it brings up a lot of references from the Star Wars movie Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Like, it brings up Jedha and Scarif, and you hear a lot about Orson Krennic from Tage's viewpoint. So it's pretty cool because as you're reading it, you can think back to Rogue One, which is a great movie. And so that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to read, it goes into one of the meetings that they have. And I'm going to start from when Darth Vader enters the room. Tage had intended Tarkin to answer him. Instead, the gravelly, deep voice of Lord Vader filled the room. "The plans you refer to will soon be back in our hands." Tage thought for a moment that he heard the sounds of distant screams and shouting, the clatter of a battle in a small area, the swish of a weapon he didn't recognize. But before his brain could fully process the phantom sounds, they were gone. When he looked up, Lord Vader faced him. Not for the first time. Tage wondered what was behind the mask, and then he questioned whether he truly wanted to know. He ground his teeth, unwilling to show the way Lord Vader's gaze intimidated him. He didn't breathe until the black-suited Lord shifted his attention to Madi. He watched dispassionately as they exchanged words. As Vader scrolled from behind Tarkin toward Madi, the tension crackled as Madi's anger flared. Vader raised his hand. Madi's words stuttered to nothing but grasping breaths. Desperate for air, Madi had called Vader's beliefs ancient and sorcerous, and Tage couldn't help but agree. Nothing but wizardry could have made Madi choke while Vader, meters away, merely raised his hands and squeezed. Tage couldn't help but bring his own hand to his mouth, but he knew better than to speak. The men around the table watched as Madi struggled to breathe until Tarkin, seemingly bored, ordered his release. Tage glanced at the chair 2 down from his, then his eyes met Madi's. A thin sheen of sweat dotted Madi's brow, his eyes still bulging slightly from the choking, but he didn't say anything further, and neither did Tage. His data had been wrong, he knew that now. Tage had looked at the angles incorrectly, surmised the outcomes based on incomplete data. He had assumed the Empire's greatest weapon was the Death Star, but he was beginning to realize that it might just be Lord Vader himself. So I thought that was a very cool passage regarding Darth Vader in this chapter. And until next time.